Hello everybody, and first and foremost, if you've watched the other two videos about my Challengers superhero group, which was the group of superheroes I made out of my G.I. Joe action figures when I was an adolescent, I don't know, fifth, sixth, fifth, sixth grade, fourth, fifth, that time frame. Thank you very much. So these are early drawings. I know these are drawings I did when I was in middle school. So here's a group shot of the Challengers. I'm very much keen to semi-quasi Justice League look to it. And first you look at it and there's that American flag coming out of his ass, and then you realize, nope, Vibes is, or Vibration as it originally was called, is holding it. Or he had his hand shoved up his ass, which is where it's coming out of. Who knows? See, this is when you're young and you don't think about composition. So, there's your first one. And then another snazzy drawing done on the back of a school assignment. And right there, we have a date. So, 7th of March of 86. So, yeah, that would have made it, this would have been 7th grade. So, here it is. A school assignment I did when I was in 7th grade, and I got a check mark plus. Woo-hoo. Obviously, I cared more about the drawing I was doing. And then, we got the Vibration guy using his powers, and of course, my snazzy special effects. Ooh, okay, so we got... Oh! Okay, so we got the guys in the background. I don't know. Yeah, the guys in the foreground are smaller than the guys in the background. Definitely. Ooh, painful. Okay, getting a little experimental here, folks. Ooh, putting in a background. Put a building behind them so it looks up to date. Oh, see, I'm such a professional back then. And of course, we've got the gun in the foreground shooting back at him, and it's missing him. So, but that was the Rising Sun character, or Quick Kick from G.I. Joe. This was something different. Back then, I always drew it this way. You know how we always, as kids, we always drew this way? Here's one I did differently. Looks like mainly I was doing stick figure drawings. Elaborate stick figure drawings. And see how, how I was doing it and how... Oh, God. Foreshortening was not even attempted. The intent was there, but the execution was not even close. And, of course... Okay, I remember... Okay, this one... Because I drew him so muscular, that's where I came up with the concept that even though he had regular human strength, he worked out a lot, and that's the reason why he was much bigger and buffer than everybody else. I do remember that from when I was a kid, drawing that. I mean, look at that. How I was like, okay, he's got a pair of gauntlets on and one chain to the floor. He's got, looks like he's in some type of tub of water. If he uses his powers, he'll electrocute himself. These guys are just in tubes. Animal is in... Oh, well, that's kind of cool, having the cord wrap around the pole. And... Oh, he's losing some feathers. But yeah, look at this guy, though. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4... He's got like 6 chains holding him in place, and all he has is human strength. Oh, you gotta love our logic as an adolescent, as a child. And then, of course, group shot, doing a lot of battle damage here. So, okay, standard drawing. Dr. Destruction. Okay, so I guess either I couldn't spell or I was intentionally trying to create made-up words. So, okay, let's not even dwell on that. Next, okay. Bad guy beats up all the good guy characters, and he shot a hole in the chest of Power Punch. And more of pretty much the same. Pretty much what I could get done in a classroom, period, instead of doing my assignment. And then, of course, the saltwater guy fighting the walrus guy. It's a bit more dynamic, at least. And then, okay. Obviously, okay, we got Cobra Commander. Remember this because I was calling him Laser Gun. And I guess he had an exoskeleton that was a Transformer or a Robotech. And which was big, which, you know what? Robotech was big back then. So I can see that was being the reason why I have him looking that way, is Robotech was really big. So, and then of course, that's a Viper. That's a Cobra Viper. Maybe that was Laser Gun's battle armor or something. I don't know. Let's not dwell on that, shall we? Let's not dwell at all. So, okay. So here we go. First things first is we have, it was going to be a Marvel comic, and it was Power Punch. And he could lift mountains. He could shoot, and he was bullet resistant, and he could swim through the earth. Either that or through a septic tank. So, okay. Another group shot. Oh, issue number 1 of the Challengers. And just like Marvel Comics, you have all the different heads. So, all the different characters right there. Oh, I had the box for the barcode. Very important, very important. Well on my way of being a professional. Oh, okay, we got the big bad guy there. And he's like, come on, Challengers, stop us if you can. So, now this I can tell you right now, I'm looking at this. I guarantee you this was a complete and utter ripoff of the Star Wars Magnificent 7 story, which was like issues 8 through 11 of the original Marvel run. Yeah, that was my big kaiju creature, and it was a big kaiju creature, and the big bad guy here, he outfitted it with laser blasters and all that stuff. So not only did they have to get through the laser blasters, they then had to deal with a big, huge kaiju. So, and then, oh, the Trouble Twins. Okay, I'm going to get into these later. Essentially, this was my next evolution of superheroes after I was done with pretty much playing with the Challengers. I developed a new set of a new comic called Star Force. Yeah, I know. Real original, Vaughn. Real original. But no, I did a lot more character building with these guys because I had a much smaller cast. So, whereas with Challengers was essentially basically, remember, that was like the reason why I loved the big team books, was you got all the action, continuous action of all the different heroes versus all the different villains. That you really didn't need to do character development, and it was not a priority in team books back then. Whereas when you had smaller groups, say the Titans or the X-Men, you did more with character development. Whereas you didn't have that with the Justice League or, per se, the Avengers. With the Avengers, it was like a rotating cast. Same thing with the Justice League of America. Whereas like Teen Titans, X-Men, same characters. Every once in a while, you'd rotate 1 or 2 characters out. But by and large, you had your core group. So, and that's what the Trouble Twins were. They were part of my own version of the X-Men or the Teen Titans. So, okay. Group shot of the Challengers and all the characters who could fly. And of course, I referenced Saturn with the rings, and that's the reason why you could tell exactly what that was without me telling you that. So, but yeah, that's what I'm. Of course, beautiful upshots of the chins and flat faces, but you know what? I can tell you right now, I know that this was done in the summer of 87. This was the summer of 87, because in the summer of 87, when I started these, was when I went from living with my father full-time to living with my mom and my sister full-time. And I started them almost immediately after I moved in with them. So that's how I know that. That's how I can timestamp that. Okay. So, yeah. So let's see here. So, and of course we have our Destructors of Evil, and where the Legion of Doom had their, dome with a scary face, skull face that rose out of the swamps. That was my mobile transport for the mobile base for the villains. So, with all the knockoff characters from the G.I. Joe and whatever action figures I have. I can tell you right now, every single one of these characters, from the Challengers to the Destructors, every single one of these characters is a knockoff of an action figure I had. So there's literally nothing original about any of these characters. That's one of the reasons why I really don't have any problems telling you about any of these characters, because it's one of those where it's like, like I said, they're all knockoffs. So, after I'd gotten done with doing the drawings of, the superhero splash shot, the villain splash shot, I really started looking into it, and I wasn't playing with my action figures anymore. And I was like, you know what? Some of these characters that I created really were kind of stupid. And the only reason why I had them was because I had developed them from an action figure. Like, that's Wild Bill. That's the Wild Bill action figure. Well, he doesn't really have any powers. It's like he had lassos, and he had a lasso and 6-shooter. So I thought about it, and I was like, why don't we start using this and killing off some of the characters that are kind of stupid. Okay, that was one of the things that started to develop it. So I have like the villains capture a bunch of characters, or some of the weaker characters, throw them into a pit with spikes at the bottom of it, and they're going to be impaled by it, even though he can reproduce, because he's falling down, and he's loaded with dynamite. No matter how many times he multiplies himself, he's still going to get caught in the explosion and die. So that's how it all started. So yeah, you can tell right off the bat, it's like, whoa, we're getting pretty dark with your heroes there, Vaughn. Instead of just writing them into retirement, yeah, kill them off. But actually, I think about it, what was going through with primarily my father at the time, this was therapy, actually. You can't take action against him, but you can take action against these guys. So, of course, okay, I do remember, this was probably the first time I really drew Headbutt. And I kind of liked how I did the H of his costume. And, of course, the concept being is that he has, I don't know, steel plate in his forehead or something. But so eventually, you take a look how he just killed and crushed the chest and face of that shadow character. Remember, the shadow character, he turns invisible when he's in shadows. He doesn't have a shadow, so he has a special device that he wore in his belt buckle that creates a shadow for him. Yeah. Well, we don't have to worry about him being a lame character anymore. And then, of course, Vibration doing that. Again, you can start to see where I'm starting to acknowledge depth in the characters. So, like, have him in the background. I'm guessing he's getting electrocuted by the robot guy. I mean, if I was to do it now, I'd probably have him like kind of like Chevy Chase from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and have him like all like arms and legs extended, go. Ugh. But again, kid, child, and then of course your Shield Commander, who is your ripoff of Captain America, but obviously not Captain America because he's basically caving somebody's face in with his shield. So okay, and then okay, so we've got the bad guy Greek, the guy that his Greek god, I guess. or a Didi, I don't know. But he's obviously using his magic sword. And okay, so here, and here, the magical bolts are just reflecting off of them. But here, I guess that's Blindside, he's getting killed. The Electro Man, he's getting killed. And the Squirrel Girl, the prostitute, the whore, the hooker, she's getting killed. So, and of course, we got silhouettes of different bad guys behind them. So, and we've got all of our different knockoffs of Firestorm and the Human Torch and anybody else with flame powers. And we are all going to have a fight of just the flame guys. So, okay. Well, what happens in that flame fight? Well, I'm guessing that they all are burning on a little island in the ocean. And we've got, let's see here, we've got one guy fighting another guy. This guy's got scuba gear and he's killing this guy. And I remember that guy hands him the, remember he was the freshwater guy who creates like water spouts like Iceman the Flyhorn. And then of course we've got two more water guys and he's in scuba gear and he's shooting him. And then we've just got, I don't know, silhouettes of guys fighting each other. Doesn't really make anything out until we're first seeing them for the first time. Doesn't tell us who they are. Good job, Vaughn. Good job. Okay. Whoa. So, okay, we got our creator, our Iron Man knockoff, killing the other Iron Man knockoff. Oh, good. And he is, looks like he's shooting and maybe killing the Doctor Doom knockoff, who is shooting his gun and killing the Bright Beam robot. That is pure stupidity genius. And then, of course, we got the comic guy flying into the really piss poor drawing of... Okay, this here, the sad thing is, I've seen this in the mainstream comics because the goddamn artists these days use an iPad and they don't use straight lines. They go, oh, I need to do a straight line? Here, I'll just freehand it. No. Push, hold. Push, hold. Push, hold. I'd have a straight line there, have a straight line there, straight line there. Jesus fucking Christ. Current artists, okay? Stop drawing like you're in... Stop drawing like you're in 8th grade. Because that's what... I was in 8th grade going to 9th grade when I did that goddamn drawing. Oh, piss me the fuck off. Okay. So, we've got Wizard. We got probably Power Punch. Nice job, Power Punch. And then some type of, I don't know, I-beam or laser beam or something. And then, of course, we've got, okay, we got our Greek god guy. We've got our elephant guy. And he's carrying off the bodies of the characters that got killed. And we've got this guy who's holding his buddy's dead carcass in his hands. So, okay. And then the bad guys, just like the Legion of Doom. Where do I have the bad guys hiding out? In a swamp. A poorly poor drawn swamp. Oh, so original, so original. And then, of course, we've got a meeting of the minds of all the superhero guys. I remember with this one, the big thing with the drawing was trying to give each character sitting at the table some type of originality. So I had him holding up like a file, had his action pose. These two are talking to each other. These two are kind of parallel to each other. But like how she's got her leg, she's supposed to be sitting back with her feet up on the table. So, and then of course, we've got the big monitor, the small monitors, the multiple keyboards, flush against the wall, and nothing else. And a line drawn, because stupid Vaughn was a stupid ass kid and didn't use a ruler. God damn it. Okay. Good guy, mystical guy, using his mystical abilities to obviously imbue a sword and a shield. And we've seen that shield before. So we've got... And here's the thing also was, as I originally, when I first showed you guys this, and, okay, so that was the first drawing. Then we moved this drawing here, okay? This is where, if you look, I started to get into the slight concept of doing storytelling with these images. Instead of just drawing these images, kind of start creating a story. So we've got, okay, so we've got the god guy with the Medusa shield, and we've got the what is that, the elephant guy. Then we established we've got these guys, the fire guys. Fire guys die. This is a bad guy killing one of the good guys. That's one of the bad guys. The glorious shot of him dying and him dying. And then we go to this one, which is, we've got your god guy, your elephant guy, the dead guys. And remember, he killed the water guy, and he's carrying the other bad guy water guy. So I'm starting to do storytelling, even at that age. Instead of doing a full-blown comic book page, I'm using these as like scenes from it, so you have other pages. But then it's just, I guess, superheroes training for the next fight. We've got, I guess you would say, the leaders of the team, because remember, there's a hell of a lot of team members here, so you can't just have one leader, you got to have multiple leaders. And so they're having a meeting of the minds. So, and you can see where I'm starting to use like some tropes of it, and where I was doing just simple line work, line art, and no depth in the line work, and like no putting like deep shadow lines in. I'm starting to use the color to put that in. So my brain's thinking I'm just, and the thing is, this is where I'm kind of annoyed with myself. It's like, you spent so much time reading comics and saying you love comics, but you didn't love them enough to study them, to learn how. I mean, if you're going to be doing that, and you're going to be doing a Superman, why don't you open up a goddamn, if you're going to be doing a ripoff of Superman, open up one of your fucking comic books and look at Superman. And then, of course, okay, bad guy, probably in the bad guy ship, was surrounded by his bad guys, and that guy looks kind of cool. So, and yes, the bad guys are prepping for war. I guess updating or reinforcing his armor. And it takes off. And one of the guys is going to fly escort, who is flying outside. Now, let's not have a whole bunch of guys flying outside. We'll have one guy flying outside. Smart, Vaughn. Really smart. And then, of course, we have shrubs. And obviously, we've got they've attacked the good guys' headquarters. I do remember, like the Justice League of America, they had their headquarters inside a mountain. So, another blatant ripoff. And, of course, let's push this button right here for an alarm as the boulders and side of the mountain comes caving in. So, and then, of course, the next big final battle. So, there you go. There's the first thing. So, our characters are going down a rocky road. Things are getting dark, people. So, okay, so we've got that. 25 minutes in. I'll wait till tomorrow, and I will give you the other book, which is the big final battle, folks. So, thank you very much for tuning in. I've really, honestly, been very surprised at, I've literally been very genuinely surprised at how many people have been watching these drawings of me in my adolescence. I would say in this, the one page, there's a couple pages here that actually I kind of did like. I do kind of like that one, how it turned out. I mean, obviously I could do a lot better with like putting a background in, but I guess imagination-wise, it didn't seem that bad. The one I kind of do like, though, where was it? I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. And that one. So, the reason why I like that one, I think primarily because of that shot right there. For when you when you compare all the other drawings that you just looked at, I kind of like that one the most. Just as one is like you could see a little bit of promise, whereas the other pages you can see pretty much just adolescent shit. So, but no, I mean, characters are heading down a rocky road. And like I said, I know when this was coming, when I did these. Well, like I said, okay. Parents divorce. I was living with my father. Sister was living with my mother. And wasn't... how can I phrase this? I wasn't satisfied with my life living with my father. And it took a while for me to get permission to move in with my mother. Okay. With the divorce, of course, there was the attempts at counseling, to the counselor that I was my father was sending me to, my response to the counselor was this. This was much more therapeutic to me. And you think about it, I've got so much conflict in my life, but running around, causing trouble, being a delinquent wasn't going to help matters. In many ways, you look at it, this is my childhood, and these are the characters I created from my childhood. I'm killing my childhood. I'm killing my childhood creations, and along with, you could say, conflict with my father, if you will. I don't know. I just remember getting much more satisfaction out of these drawings than going to see the therapist. So I've got one more sketch pad like this. We'll tackle that one tomorrow. Like I said, I am shocked at how many people are viewing this. So you know what? You don't get them until you ask for them. So I'm going to ask for it. Give me a like. Give me a comment. And hopefully in the next 2-3 days, we'll get the next pad of paper. We'll get the next sketch pad full of drawings of my childhood. So until then, remember, everybody, life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.